My wife hid her boss was the father of our baby. She lied for months, made me raise a child that wasn't mine, then left me to pick up the pieces. I am 30 years old, and I run a small gardening business that I started about 5 years ago. It is nothing fancy, but it is enough to pay the bills, keep me busy, and give work to a good team. My day-to-day is between trucks, dirt, invoices, and a lot of elderly ladies telling me I missed a spot. My wife, well, ex-wife technically, is named Natalia. She is 27 years old and worked in marketing at one of those downtown agencies that thinks it is the next big technological revolution. Shiny offices, dress code, nonstop creative sessions. That was her world. Mine was another. We met at a barbecue with some friends. She liked my dog, laughed at my jokes, and for a while we fit together. We moved in together after 9 months, and a year later we got married. I thought I had gotten lucky. She was smart, funny, beautiful, and seemed to enjoy that I was a simple person. Down to earth, she said. That she wanted a stable, reliable man who knew how to build things. Those were her words. A couple of months after the wedding, she told me she was pregnant. I was surprised, but happy. We had not planned it, but I assumed that life throws things at you, and you just deal with them. I was scared, yes, but also excited. She, on the other hand, took it with a strange calmness. She said it was destiny. Jump to the present, a month ago from this. Our daughter, Emma, was 8 months old. That Saturday, a co-worker of Natalia's named Paula came to the house. They had always been close since she started at that agency. They would constantly check on each other, go out to lunch together. Paula came over with some cookies or muffins. I do not remember well. She said she wanted to meet the baby. It was her first time seeing her in person because she had been on vacation. Emma was in her rocking chair, moving her feet and making her little noises. I was on the couch watching TV without paying much attention. Natalia and Paula were chatting. Suddenly, Paula bends down, looks at the baby, and says, almost casually, but out loud, "My God, she looks a lot like our boss." I sat up a little because it sounded very strange to me. Natalia's face changed instantly. She became tense, as if she had forgotten how to move her face. Then she laughed, forced, and said, "Oh, Paula, shut up. You are always saying silly things." She changed the subject immediately, as if nothing had happened. But I could not get that phrase out of my head. Why would she say something like that if it did not have at least some truth to it? And if it was a joke, why did Natalia react as if a secret had been exposed in public? That night, when Paula left, I asked her directly why she said that. Natalia laughed again, but it sounded fake. "It is Paula. She is always joking. You know her. But I do not know her. I have barely interacted with her, and I had never seen her joke like that. Since then, my mind has been racing. I mentally review every gesture, every silence. Everything fits, too strange. I could not sleep that night either. I kept thinking about all the times Natalia talked about her boss. His name is Leandro. He is about 40-something. One of those guys who seem to have a personal trainer and a facial care routine. At first, she used to mention him a lot. Leandro said this. Leandro thinks that. Leandro is brilliant. Back then, I thought it was admiration. Now I am not so sure. She used to say she stayed late because of meetings and urgent projects. I never doubted it because I trusted her. Besides, I also worked a lot during peak season, with 12-hour days to get ahead of orders before the rains. But now everything sounds different. Every night she came home late. Every message she ignored. Everything has a different meaning. And Paula's comment no longer seems like a joke, but a slip-up, a truth that escaped unintentionally. And Natalia's expression spoke louder than any words. I do not want to jump to conclusions, I know. Sometimes people say things without thinking, but I have a feeling that will not go away. When you work hard to support a home, to be present, to watch your daughter grow up, to suddenly be assaulted by the doubt of whether she really is yours. There is no sleep that can bring you peace. I have not done anything yet. I am trying to think clearly. I do not want to act without being sure, but I also do not want to go crazy with uncertainty. The next day, I could not look at her the same way. I saw her feeding Emma as if nothing had happened. I got up, said I had an early meeting with a client, and left without having coffee. The truth is, I did not have any work scheduled that morning. I went to a coffee shop across from Natalia's office and texted Paula to ask if she could see me for a moment. She replied with a sure and a smiley emoji. I did not know what to expect, but I needed answers. She arrived 10 minutes later, dressed for the office, with her phone vibrating nonstop. It was obvious she was surprised to see me. And no wonder, I had never asked to talk to her alone. I did not waste any time. I told her that I was not looking for trouble or drama. I just needed to know one thing. Natalia, does she spend time with Leandro outside of work? I asked directly, without hesitation. She was quiet for a second, not out of confusion, but because she was choosing her words carefully. Well, yes, they are always working late together, lots of meetings. He trusts her a lot. They are very close on projects. Then she let out a weird little laugh and added, but nothing weird, if that is what you were thinking. I nodded, thanked her, paid for her coffee, and left. I did not need to hear anything more. That answer confirmed more than she imagined. I remembered all the things I let slide. When I wanted to bring her lunch and she got upset, saying it was inappropriate for her husband to show up in her meeting room. Or that time she canceled our anniversary dinner because she had an emergency with a campaign and then uploaded stories from the office with Leandro in the background, laughing with a glass of sparkling water. I also thought about her relationship with her phone. Before, she would leave it lying around without a problem. Now she does not let go of it. Always with the screen down, always silent. Every time I picked up her phone, even if it was just to hand it to her, she would snatch it away with a speed that made it seem like she thought I was trying to spy on her. That afternoon, I could not concentrate on anything. I stayed inside my truck, parked in front of a Home Depot for almost 2 hours, turning things over in my head. Was I exaggerating? Was I getting carried away by a simple phrase? But no. Everything indicated that something was not right. It was not recent. It had been going on for a long time, since Emma was born. Natalia had become distant. At first, she attributed it to tiredness, stress, normal adjustments. And those were valid reasons. But even on the days when she seemed rested, even on weekends, when her mother would take care of the baby for a few hours, her attitude remained the same, cold, distant, as if she was taking refuge inside herself and would not let me in. I got home around 6 in the evening. She was in the kitchen making pasta as if it was any other Thursday. I sat at the table and watched her. I wanted to see if there was something in her face that would give her away. Guilt, nervousness, discomfort, but nothing. She just stirred the sauce while asking if I wanted garlic bread. I said yes, and we ate dinner in silence. That same night, when Emma was already asleep and we were in bed, I turned to her and just said it. I want to get a paternity test. She crossed her arms and looked at me as if I had gone crazy. Is this because of what Paula said? She asked. It was a joke. She is always saying silly things, you know that. I already explained it to you. I replied that I was not accusing her of anything, but that I needed to know for myself. She immediately got offended. She said it was disrespectful, that I was being insecure and paranoid. She reminded me that she carried Emma for 9 months, that she brought her into the world, that she has not slept well since then, that if I truly loved her I would never have asked for such a thing. I replied that love does not erase doubt, and that at that moment I was living with a huge question mark. She remained silent, and without further ado, she said, I am not going to do it. She turned around and turned off the light as if that settled the matter, but it was not settled, not even close. A few days later, I waited for her to leave the house to go to the supermarket. I took one of Emma's used pacifiers, put it in a Ziploc bag, labeled it, and ordered a DNA test kit online. I paid for express service and sent it the next day, along with my sample. My hands were shaking. I tried to convince myself that I was exaggerating, that I was making things up, but deep down I already knew the truth. I just did not want to accept it yet. The day after I sent it, Natalia asked me if I had seen Emma's pacifier. I told her that maybe it had gotten under the couch. She did not insist. She took a new one out of the closet and went on with her day. That week I pretended everything was fine. I went to work, took care of the garden, played with Emma, kissed Natalia on the cheek. I pretended because the only thing I was waiting for was the email with the truth. The email arrived on a Wednesday afternoon, while I was in the backyard picking up tools after a job. One of my employees had left the leaf blower jammed, and I had my hands covered in dirt and leaves when I felt the phone vibrate. I took it out, looked at the screen, and everything stopped. The subject said, DNA test results, see attached documents. I did not open it immediately. I stared at the notification, hoping, wishing it was a mistake or a spam email, but it was not. I got in the truck and opened it. There was no drama, no tears, just a simple sentence, probability of paternity, 0%. That was all. Clear, direct, undeniable. I read it 3 times, but there was no mistake. Emma was not my daughter. She never had been. Since Emma was born, my life had completely changed. When she smiled at me for the first time, I felt time stop. I was not playing a role. I was her father, with all that implies. Every laugh, every gesture, every little finger clinging to mine bound me closer to her. And now it was as if someone had ripped out a part of my soul that I did not even know I could lose. I do not know how long I sat there, gripping the steering wheel, with my chest in a knot. It was a mixture of wanting to scream and wanting to vomit, but I did nothing. I just felt an impossible emptiness, as if the world had shut down. Later, I went back home, still wearing my work boots and covered in dust. Natalia was in the living room with Emma in her arms, making her laugh. She looked at me and smiled as if everything was normal. I told her that I was tired, that I was going to lie down for a while. She offered to make me something, but I said no. I did not mention the results. Not yet. I needed to think. I wanted to confront her, yell at her, tell her I knew the truth, but I also knew that if I lost control, she would use it against me. She would cry, manipulate the situation, and play the victim. I needed to be one step ahead, so I held back. That night, when she fell asleep, I turned on my laptop and started checking everything: bank accounts, insurance policies, the house deed, anything that linked us. I made a list of all the shared assets, and the next day, I started making calls. I wanted to protect what was mine. I was not going to let her destroy me again. If she lied to me about something so big, what else would she be capable of? I also contacted my lawyer, the same one who helped me when I started my business. I wrote to him explaining that I needed to start divorce proceedings and find out how to get my name removed from the birth certificate. He called me that same day. I will never forget what he told me. You were lucky to find out in time, Aiden. Most do not see it until it is too late. He explained the procedure and advised me not to say anything until everything was in motion. So I kept pretending. I changed my direct deposit account to a new, personal one. I opened a P.O. box for legal correspondence and started storing important documents: passport, social security number, business papers, all in a locked drawer. I felt as if I was preparing for a storm that had already begun. The strangest thing of all was having to pretend that everything was still the same. Every time I saw Emma, I felt a knot in my chest. She would still reach out to me. She would still light up when I entered the room. But now I could not help but see the obvious. Those eyes, that nose, they were Leandro's, identical. And I had been blind, not out of ignorance, but because I wanted to be. I wanted to start a family so badly that I swallowed all the signs, the ones Paula had given me from the beginning. Natalia must have noticed that something was wrong, because suddenly she started being more affectionate, cooking more often, asking me how I was more frequently. She even tried to get close to me intimately, something that had not happened for months. A few days later, my lawyer sent me a message. The divorce papers were ready. I went to his office to sign them. The whole process seemed surreal, as if I was signing my way out of my own life. But at the same time, it was a relief, as if the air had finally cleared. When I got home, I went to the mailbox to pick up a physical copy of the DNA results, in case I ever needed to show them. I already knew I was going to confront her soon. I was just waiting for the right moment. And to be honest, I also wanted to see how much longer she would continue lying to my face. I did not have to wait long for the opportunity. That weekend, Natalia mentioned that she was planning to take Emma to visit her parents, and she asked me if I wanted to go with them. I told her no. Then she insisted, asking me why I had been so distant lately. That is when I looked her straight in the eye and asked, "Is there anything you need to tell me?" She blinked, disoriented. What? I did not say anything. I just watched her. And then she got defensive. Why are you like this? You have been acting weird for days. I told her that we would talk later, and we would, but not until everything was properly closed. At that point, it was no longer a matter of emotions. Anger and sadness were behind me. I just wanted to finish. I wanted to get out of this clean. She could keep pretending all she wanted. I already knew the truth, and soon I would have it in writing too. It was a Tuesday night when I finally decided to do it. I had everything ready. There was nothing left to plan, only to face the disaster that would come from telling Natalia the truth. I waited until after dinner. While she was washing the dishes, Emma was in her high chair, smashing pieces of banana as if she was creating a work of art. I stopped to look at the scene. I was struck by how natural it had all become. Not the family itself, but the routine, me working, her pretending, both of us pretending. It had become so habitual that it was easy to forget how fake it all was. When Emma fell asleep, I sat on the couch. Natalia was next to me looking at her phone. I did not want to soften it. I did not use that typical "we need to talk." I just blurted out the truth, calmly. I have the results. She is not my daughter. Her fingers froze mid-scroll. She did not look up. I immediately saw how her face changed, how her breathing became erratic. She was trapped, and she knew it. "What are you talking about?" she finally asked, her voice trembling. "You know exactly what I am talking about," I said. "The DNA test. I used the pacifier. The results were clear, 0%. There is no need for you to keep acting." For a few seconds, she just looked at me. I do not know if she was trying to make up a lie or waiting for me to explode so she could play the victim, but since I did not, since I just kept staring at her, she broke down. "I cannot believe you do not trust me," she finally said. I had to laugh. That was her first response. Not an "I am sorry," not an attempt to explain herself, just another twist to make me look like the bad guy. "It is not about trust anymore," I replied. "It is about facts. The paper says what it says. I do not need your version." She stood up and started pacing as if she was about to give a speech. "You took me by surprise with this. We could have talked about it. We could have worked it out. You had 8 months to talk," I said. "Every day you had a chance, but you chose to let me name her, to let me lose sleep taking care of her, to let me believe she was my daughter, while you lied to my face." Then came the tears. I could not tell if they were real or fake. She fell onto the couch and started crying. She repeated phrases like, "It did not happen like that. I did not want it to happen. I did not know how to fix it." I did not say anything. I was not going to comfort her. Not this time. Between sobs, she admitted what I already knew, that it had been Leandro, that it had happened several times when she said she was working late, that she thought it would stop, that it was never anything serious, that she did not plan to lie to me. But when the pregnancy test came back positive, she did not know how to handle it. I asked her, "Did you already know she was not mine when you told me you were pregnant?" She hesitated, and that silence told me everything. "I was not sure," she finally admitted. "I was afraid. I thought that if I told you the truth you would leave." I replied that that was not fear, it was selfishness. Maybe I would have stayed if she had been honest from the beginning. But lying to me every day for almost a year was not fear, it was choosing her comfort over respect. Then she asked the question that hurt me the most. "So now what? Are you going to leave her? Are you going to walk away from her, as if she means nothing?" I felt a tightness in my chest. I wanted to yell, but I held back. "She is not mine," I said quietly. "You made that decision when you lied. I would have done anything for her. I thought she was my daughter, but all of that was a lie that you invented and protected. So yes, I am walking away from something that should never have started." The way she looked at me was as if I had slapped her. I think deep down she still thought I would give in, that guilt would win me over and I would not dare to leave. But there was no guilt left, only clarity. I told her firmly that I had already filed for divorce. "You will receive the notification this week," I added. "I have also requested that my name be removed from the birth certificate. I do not intend to pay child support. Whether Leandro does or not is your business." That broke her. She began to beg me. She admitted that she had been a fool. She even tried to use Emma as an emotional shield again. "She loves you, Aiden. She cries when you leave. She lights up when you come into the room. That means something." I answered without hesitation, "Yes, it means you knew how to manipulate me very well." She broke down even more, confessed that she had nowhere to go, that she did not know what she was going to do, that her family did not know the truth, and that she did not dare tell them because they would never forgive her. I told her it was no longer my responsibility, that she had made her decisions, and now it was her turn to deal with the consequences. I did not sleep that night. I packed a bag and went to a friend's house for a while. I did not even say goodbye to Emma. That hurt me more than I like to admit, but I knew it was the cleanest way. If I hugged her again, if I let myself get carried away once more by the idea that there was still something there, I might hesitate, and I could not allow myself that. The next morning, I blocked Natalia's number. My lawyer confirmed that all the paperwork was in order and that he would soon begin the legal process. I asked him to only contact me if it was absolutely necessary. I did not leave any notes. I did not send any messages. After everything that had happened, she did not deserve a single word more from me. I had already given too much. About 2 weeks after I left, I began to hear things. Comments reached me from mutual friends, former coworkers, even from my sister, who still followed her on social media. I was not looking for updates, but they started coming on their own. Apparently, Natalia did exactly what I imagined. She went to Leandro and told him what happened, although, of course, in her own way. She painted herself as the victim, as if she was alone, abandoned, and needed him to step up. But it did not take long for the plan to backfire. Leandro was not naive. He was a married man with a reputation to protect and a job too good to risk for something like that. What did he do? What those who have a lot to lose do. He covered himself. He went straight to human resources and said that Natalia was harassing him at work. He claimed that she was spreading rumors and making false insinuations. He turned it all around so fast that no one understood what was going on. In 1 week, Natalia was suspended and the next, fired. Just like that. And no, I did not feel sorry for her. It may sound cruel, but after everything she did to me, after stealing almost a year of my life, after making me believe I was the father of a child who was not mine, I had no room to feel sorry. Decisions have consequences. She made hers, and this time she could not get away with it smiling, even though she tried. One night, coming back from a job, I saw that I had a voice message from an unknown number. I almost never listened to those messages, but something told me I should. It was her. Her voice sounded different, tired, as if she had been crying before recording it. "Hi, it is me. I know you are probably not going to listen to this." But she did not know who else to call. "Emma is sick. She has had a fever for 2 days, and I do not know what to do. Leandro is not answering. I have no one else. You were always there for her. She misses you. I do too." I did not finish listening to it. I deleted it halfway through. The next day, she left another one, the same pleading tone. This time she said that she realized how much she had screwed up, that I was the only real man, that I did not abandon her, that now she understood that Leandro would never help her. She said she felt stupid, that she thought he would be her savior, but that he was nothing like me. That made me laugh. How could she say that to me now? As if I was her plan B, the one she could go back to when the fairy tale fell apart. I did not answer her, not by phone, not by text, not to the email she sent me the next day, full of pictures of Emma. Some recent, some old, with captions like, "Does she still sleep with the bear you gave her?" Or, "Look how much she has grown." As if that was going to change anything. That same week, I ran into her sister, Mary, at the supermarket. We were never close, but she had always treated me well. She stopped me in the cereal aisle with a look that mixed pity and guilt. "She is not well, Aiden. She cries all day. She barely has enough for diapers." I nodded, grabbed the box I was holding, and said, "Then you help her. It is not my business anymore." Mary did not argue. She just sighed and said, "You did not deserve any of what she did to you. I just thought you should know." That phrase kept going through my mind for days. Not because I still cared about Natalia, but because it confirmed something I suspected. She had not told the whole truth yet. Her family knew something was wrong, that she had lost her job and that I had left. But she kept presenting herself as the victim, the single mother abandoned for no reason. Not a word about the lies, not a mention of the infidelity, just that version that made everyone feel sorry for her and left me as the one who left her overnight. I could have made everything public, uploaded the DNA results, told the whole story on social media, made it clear who she really was, but I did not. Not to protect her, but because I did not care enough. I had already won. She had to live with what she did, and that was enough for me. That weekend she showed up at my door. I was lying on the couch eating cold wings and watching whatever on YouTube. When I heard the knocks, they were not normal, they were urgent, as if she was trying to take shelter from a storm, but the sky was clear. I looked through the peephole. It was Natalia, with Emma in her arms, wearing a sweatshirt and a desperate look on her face. She looked like she had not slept in days. I did not open, I did not move. I just stood there, watching her knock on the door again and again, as if I was going to forget everything that happened. She was there for almost 10 minutes, talking to the door as if I was listening. "I just want to talk. She misses you. You are still her father. Aiden, you always will be." And then she left. I waited to hear her car drive away from the garage before opening the door. On the doormat, there was a folded note in her handwriting. It said, "He will always be her dad. That does not change because of a test. She keeps crying for you. Please come see her. I beg you." I read it only once. I closed the door. I walked to the kitchen. I took a lighter out of the junk drawer and burned it right in the sink. The next day I called my lawyer. I asked him to draw up a restraining order. No more messages, no more visits, nothing. I had made a firm decision to leave all that drama behind. Emma was not my daughter, and although that hurt more than I imagined, I was not going to keep paying for a lie that was not mine. That same week, I packed up the last of the baby things that were left in the apartment and used diapers, old toys, clothes she would never wear. I donated everything to a shelter. It was harder than I thought. There were times when I stopped with a tiny garment in my hands, like a onesie or some little shoes I had chosen myself. But I did it anyway, because keeping all that was like clinging to a story that was never real. That chapter of my life was over. Not because things had run their course, but because I was the one who slammed the book shut, and I have no intention of opening it again. I was ready to move on, leave it all behind. I no longer felt anger, only total detachment. The kind of detachment that is born when your whole world falls apart. Even so, you discover that you can keep breathing. But there was something that was not letting me completely rest. A loose end, Leandro, the man who got my wife pregnant, the one who, knowing that she was married and had a family, chose to get involved with her as if it were an office game without consequences. He also had a wife, and yet he never faced any consequences, or at least none that really cost him anything. Leandro let Natalia carry all the weight, pointed her out as the guilty one to protect his image, and walked away as if he had done nothing. Meanwhile, I was left picking up the pieces of a life that was not even mine. For a while I did nothing. Revenge did not interest me. But one day, out of simple curiosity, I looked him up on the internet. His LinkedIn profile, of course, impeccable, a senior position at his company, sharing motivational phrases and nonsense about teamwork. The usual. But what really caught my attention was his personal profile, the one that appeared on his wife's public Facebook account. Her name was Valeria, and she shared the same last name as him. There it was, married for 11 years, proud parents of 2 children. I looked through their photos, a picture-perfect family, beautiful house, vacations in the Bahamas, everything perfectly put together. I stared at those images for a long time. That man had a whole life built, and while he smiled in family photos, he was sleeping with my wife and pretending Emma did not exist. As soon as the situation got complicated, he disappeared. I was not angry about what happened. I was furious about how easy it was for him to leave without paying the price. I made a decision. I was not going to send him an anonymous message. I was not going to beat around the bush. I was going to look him in the eye and tell him the truth, just as I would have liked someone to do for me. It was not hard to find his address. A few clicks were enough, public records, cross-referencing data. It was not harassment. I just needed to deliver a truth and leave, so that she knew who she was with. I showed up one Saturday morning. I knocked on the door and waited. She came out in casual clothes, without makeup, holding a coffee mug that said "World's Best Mom." I introduced myself. "Hi, I am Aiden. You do not know me, but I was married to someone your husband knows very well." She seemed puzzled, but polite. "Who?" "Her name is Natalia. They work together." Her expression changed. "And what is this about?" "I am not here to cause trouble," I clarified. "I just think you deserve to know that your husband had an affair with my wife, and that she had a daughter who is his. She is about 9 months old." I saw her almost drop the mug. Her face went from disbelief to pure anguish. She went out to the porch and closed the door behind her. "I guess so the kids would not hear." "Are you serious?" she asked. I nodded. "I have DNA proof. I raised that baby for 8 months believing she was mine, until a test proved otherwise." My ex-wife admitted everything. Valeria did not cry. She did not scream. She just looked down as if her mind had completely shut down. Then she looked at me and said, "Why are you telling me this?" "Because you deserve to know," I replied. "I would have wanted to know." She shook her head as if she still could not process it. "He told me she was just a coworker, that it was all made-up drama, that she was fired for lying." "She was not lying," I told her. She told him he was the father, and he disappeared. Human Resources covered it up, but I have all the messages, the audio recordings, and a child who is his spitting image. Valeria was silent for a few more seconds, then asked to see the proof. I handed her the folder I had brought with me, just in case. She did not open it at the time. She just held it as if it weighed a ton. I made it clear that I was not there for revenge. "What you do with this is your decision. I just wanted to make sure you knew the truth." I could not rest easy knowing he was still lying to you while someone else was raising his daughter. She simply nodded. She thanked me quietly, her eyes lost somewhere in the garden. I left without adding anything else, without dwelling on what might happen next. Deep down, I did not need to see it. Whatever came next no longer belonged to me. During the following days there was no news, no messages, no calls, just silence. But that was enough to understand that the truth had done its thing. I did not need to confirm if she confronted him, if she kicked him out, or if she decided to forgive him. The important thing was that, for once, someone else had to carry the weight of his actions. I moved on with my life. Different, yes, broken in some places, but lighter, without the burden of a lie that was not mine. I did not get justice, or punishment, or redemption. The only thing I took away was the certainty that, at least this time, I was not the one left with my eyes closed.